This is Cameron. He quit his six-figure tech job to build software while traveling the world, making more money than any business could ever pay him. But what will take Cameron from where he is right now to scaling faster is content. And this is how his software will get the distribution he needs for free while building authority and getting leads. So today, he's going to sit down with me and we're going to be going through every single one of those steps. And my name is Lara Acosta. I built 3, 6, and 7-figure businesses using content and LinkedIn. I built my personal brand from 0 to 300,000 followers, and I know exactly what the bottlenecks in Cam's strategy are and how to fix them today. The key elements we need to cover in order to build a profitable brand are 1, expertise and how we can own it. Number 2, relevant stories and how we can use them to drive attention. And number 3, traffic generation and how to manufacture it. My plan is simple. Ask some questions, get keywords, and build a strategy and a full content system for him to use for the future and for his business. Okay, so today we have Cameron here. He is starting building his personal brand on LinkedIn, and he has a few problems that we're going to be addressing today. So Cameron, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Cameron and I'm a software engineer turned entrepreneur. I have 2 SaaS businesses. I started coding at 13 and now I build SaaS and businesses for a living. I am currently looking at starting my LinkedIn journey. I'm having a few issues figuring out what to write about, how to go about it, and Lara is the best person at doing this.
Yes. So what do you think is your main problem when trying to sit down and write content?
Without a doubt, it's figuring out what to write about.
Yeah. And is it because you don't know what angles work best on the platform, or you just can't even figure out what to write?
I think I have a lot of information to share, but it's figuring out how I can say it in a way that's interesting to other people.
Amazing. So with your LinkedIn strategy, because you've been coding and you have all of this knowledge, what is the problem that's stopping you from creating content consistently and well on LinkedIn?
Right. So I would say Kleo is great for writing the content, but I think what I personally struggle right now is what do I write about? What angle do I write about? And how do I go around it?
And if you were to know, so I want my personal brand to be this, what do you want to be known for? Because we start with what you're going to be known for, and then your positioning, and then the social proof that goes with it. So what do you want to be known for first?
I want to be known as the tech guy, the guy who can come into a company and build a tech team and just really pioneer the technical side of a business.
Okay. So within that, what are the main skills that you think you need to talk about or show to educate your ideal client or user or follower about, so they trust you as that person, as a tech guy? What does a tech guy talk about?
So I think I need to talk about technical things, obviously, but this is where I struggle because I personally, as a tech guy, I want to get in the details. I want to nerd out on everybody, but I know that not everybody's interested in the real details.
Yeah. So what if we took away all that overcomplication, you want to say everything, what will you actually be talking about right now?
I would like to talk about the code.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about things like tech stack.
Yep.
New latest AI tools.
Yep.
How we can use them in Kleo. Yeah.
So when it comes to coding, how do you make this beginner friendly? If you were for your ideal clients, they don't know code. So what do they usually come to you to talk about? What questions?
So I think maybe an angle could be more like the vibe coding side. So me showing somebody without the experience how to build different apps, build different tools and start to sell a product.
And then for tech stacks is the same. So they just want to know how to become more productive, how to do that.
Yes. What tools can they leverage to get things done faster?
Okay. And then the latest AI tools or trends, why is that important to you?
Well, obviously Kleo is an AI-based app, but I think in general, it's a hot topic.
Yep.
People want to use the latest AI tools. If they know certain things are available, it actually, every time there's an advancement in AI, it opens up a whole new world of opportunity for businesses.
Okay, that's good. We're sorted that out. So we have enough knowledge here so we can build a content strategy. Now for positioning, what type of personal brand do you want to build? There's 2 types of brands that do incredibly well on LinkedIn. There's the storytelling ones, like myself, and then there's education only, like Jake's. What do you want to lean more into? Do you want to be known for you or for your skill?
I think I would probably lean towards the story side. I would also obviously like to show my knowledge.
And social proof is the most important. So here's how you sort of like differentiate yourself from every other tech guy on LinkedIn. So you've obviously built Kleo and scaled that to
62K MR.
nice. And then before that, what else and who else have you helped do something of that caliber or something that people would want to listen to you for?
Also built Mentions or passive Mentions, which is at 20K MRR.
And what does Mentions do?
Mentions is a tool which lets businesses and websites see how they are cited in LLMs.
These two are B2B SaaS companies, right? Okay, B2B SaaS. And then anything else?
I think really before that, my authority just comes from the companies I've worked at, mainly just in a 9-to-5 job at large corporate American companies.
Okay, can you say anything about these companies, like Fortune 500?
Yeah, some of they're worth like several billion dollars.
$1 billion. So the reason why this is important is that if we can just map all of this out, people need to know you for one thing, and then they need to trust you based on that. Because if there's no this, they can't really tell if you're being serious about all of this. That's where we're going to start building your content strategy. So we need to go for high value skills and then monetizable expertise. So a high value skill is what you can tell stories about and what you can educate on. People get this wrong all the time where they feel like they can only educate but never storytell. You can always do both at the same time. Your high value skill is obviously being in tech, having built businesses from that. So tell me 2 stories that we can use today about you being the tech guy. I built Kleo to 60K, that's one of them. Building in public. And the next one that would stand out to me would be you quitting your job on a whim to go and work with the Kleo guys, right?
Right.
Yeah, quitting 9 to 5. And then education, when it comes to high value, is how do we get a stranger to trust me in less than 60 seconds? You knowing what you know about the market, what do you think would interest someone like me or Rob or Jake to work with you?
Well, the thing I see the most is the whole Vibe Coder project in bias or weekend. So if I can show people what's possible within 1 or 2 days, maybe they can see, well, what's possible with someone with expertise over a longer period of time.
Okay. Anything else?
Maybe AI tools which are out there that they can use, like your average person can use, that will help them.
So people will see this, and I see this all the time where you'll highlight, oh, you can talk about this, you can talk about this, you can talk about this, but people will be like, okay, but where's the money? Or how do I grow? All of these, if you think about them, they all lead to a first principle, which is financial. Building in public, you showing how you built in public leads to people knowing how they can make more money. You quitting your 9 to 5, you quit your 9 to 5 for a reason, to make more money. So every single thing that we ever talk about always comes back to the main principle, which is making your ideal reader the main character. And so within the first 1 or 2 lines of a post, there always needs to be some financial incentive or some sort of hint that this is going to make the user money. That's what we call unselfish content, and how we make it all about them, even when you're talking about yourself. And then the monetizable skills are, how to build a SaaS, how to vibe code in 2 hours or less, whatever. Anything else?
How to use X AI tool.
And then we always say either to save time, make money, or live a better life. Cool. All right. So before we get into actually writing content with Kleo and AI, we need to understand what your content themes are going to be. This is what the part where most people kind of like get confused, or where they stop posting content because they use AI and then they'll be like, write me a post for this. But then there's no continuity. Like, I don't know where this is leading. Ideally, let's say, how many posts a week do you think you want to write? 4?
4 or 5.
Okay, so we're gonna be following my 4, 3, 2, 1 framework, which aligns well with you. So 4 posts a week. And so since you want to build a parcel brand that's based on your story, but also storytelling, the split between the 4 is going to be 1 post about education, 1 post storytelling, 1 post doing both. So edu-telling using the Slay framework. And then another post is educating. This immediately removes every single constraint of like, what do I write about? You go into a post knowing that this is going to be an educational post based on what we talked about earlier. So then you don't have to decide on the day. You already know what you're writing. Then the 3 is for the 3 content themes or content pillars that we're going to be using. So we already decided that you want to do education and storytelling. So those are not the content pillars. What we're doing is either talking about total addressable market content. So something that goes viral, because that's how you're going to increase your followers. That's how you're gonna go viral. Then we're gonna do growth content, which is similar to total addressable market content, but this is going to grow you as a person. So people getting invested into your brand rather than just what you're educating on. And then this is like sales content. So for total addressable market content is where we talk about something that you have the unfair advantage to talk about that not that many people do, which is LinkedIn has these 8 keywords that it loves pushing. One of them is AI. The other one is productivity. The other one is remote work. The other one is LinkedIn itself. LinkedIn loves it when you talk about LinkedIn. So you already have 4. And so when you think about this, you already have the cheat codes to create content that actually performs well without really doing that much extra work. Because someone else that doesn't work remotely, that doesn't know how to use AI, will have to kind of figure out how to link everything back to AI, but you don't because you automatically already talk about these things. Then growth content is going to be stories that, again, are linked to fast principles. You're 9 to 5, quitting your job, building a SaaS, talking about money, these things. And then sales content goes back to how we're actually monetizing you. Will you be promoting Kleo in your content?
Yes.
Yeah. And then will you be selling your consultancy or anything else, or just Kleo only?
At this stage, I just want authority.
Okay, so we only want to drive traffic to your main SaaS or your 2 SaaSes. And then the thing here is the 2. So there's 2 types of personas that you want to talk to every single time. Most marketers always focus on one, and that is your ideal client persona, right? Everybody talks about this. There's another one. It's called the IFP, ideal follower persona. The people that are 18, 19, 20 that can't afford our product, but they can afford to support you. These are the people that we want to get the most because they're going to push this type of content to your ideal client. Okay. Now, the last thing is my favorite one. What do you think this is? One thing a week that I love so much. One lead magnet a week. So at first, like, one of my core principles, as people know, is lead magnets. Why do you think we need lead magnets every single week for a personal brand?
To capture their emails.
Yes. The thing with lead magnets on LinkedIn is that they serve in 2 different ways. So when you post a lead magnet, you get emails. But the second thing is that these are some of the most viral formats on LinkedIn because you automatically get more virality because people always want free stuff. So if you're consistently pushing lead magnets, people get to follow you, they find you, they know you, and they trust you, which is like literally what we're trying to do with all of these things, but this is all in one. But most people don't post them because they don't know how. But you know how, because we built some magnets together. Okay, cool. Now, are you clear on this?
I'm clear on this.
So let's revisit. So the 4 posts. So if you were to educate on something today, what would it be?
Vibe coding.
Okay, vibe coding. And then so if I said how to vibe code a SaaS in 2 minutes, does that make sense?
Something like that.
Cool. Storytelling. Your next storytelling post would be about
quitting my job.
Okay. And then how do we make it interesting to someone else?
We
use Kleo. And we link it back to a problem that they have. So I quit my 9 to 5 to go fly to Canada. Here's exactly how you can do it as well. That's the second thing, but Kleo can also help us do that. And then storytelling using the sleigh. So if you were to tell a story about something like vibe coding, the way that we would do it is like I started vibe coding when I was 15, 13. Since then, I built 2 B2B SaaSes that are nearly 6 figures each. Okay. And then here's how. So that's how we retain that authenticity, but still educate an audience that is in your IFB and then your ICP. Okay. And then again, we educate back, and then you can create a how-to step-by-step how to build a SaaS product. Cool?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to hop onto Kleo. This is my Kleo, so it doesn't have your information. But ideally, what we would have done is that we will put everything that we just went through from the content that you're going to talk about, educating and storytelling, and some context about you, and how we just put it in your knowledge base. Then we're going to write like me, because this is my writing style on Kleo. And so how we're going to write your first post. The prompt is, I want to write 5 ideas for my next LinkedIn post. I want to be known as the tech guy in my industry. I want to talk about vibe coding, etc. Give me hug ideas that matched fast principles. Add urgency, scarcity, or FOMO if needed. And then make this total addressable market content. On top of this, I'm going to add a secret Kleo swipe file that we created that has all the knowledge in here. You can also find that within the writing frameworks, right?
The viral SOP.
the viral SOP somewhere here. So once we have that, it should give us 5 amazing hook ideas that can make you go viral tomorrow. Yeah. So the first one, I built 2 6-figure SaaS products using vibe coding. You don't need clean code to hit 6 figures. Vibe coding is dead in 6 months. I left my corporate job to build worse software. Wow.
It's an angle.
Most engineers will never build a profitable product. I think this is good. Okay. So then we actually prompted to write it. Ideas are good because they teach you exactly how you need to take your idea and actually make it a topic that people are interested in, rather than just a topic that you're interested in. And obviously then Kleo is going to write it here. So most engineers will never build a profitable product. I was one of them for years. Oh, this is great. What Kleo is doing here, we are doing a few things. So most engineers, so we're categorizing one of your ideal audiences that will follow you, and then they want to know how to build a profitable product. So immediately we're giving them the payoff. And then the second thing is you're then relating back to you. So this is entertaining while it's educating. And this defeats the typical viral LinkedIn slop, which is like, here's how to build a productivity app. It's about them through the lens of you, because everybody wants to build a profitable product in seconds. And then, you write the entire post based on whatever Kleo gives you. Any question?
No, that's good.
If you were to leave now, what do you think would stop you from being more consistent or feeling like you're on track?
I think would be probably like validation of my ideas. So I think what I would probably do is I'd probably split out each of the different pillars. I'd probably come up with ideas for each of the pillars. But then until I guess I've done the practice and I've seen what works and what doesn't, my first question would be, is this a good idea?
Okay. So how I would validate the idea is using Kleo's swipe file, because how we've built it is we can tell what people are saving right now. And so if you take a validated idea that someone else has saved, then you put it next to your post that you wrote, you can sort of like see what type of content is doing well on the platform. And that's exactly how I built my content. It's like by understanding patterns, not just regurgitating what other people are saying. Like, is this formatting working right now? Is this topic and angle like negative, positive? Oh, this person used a lot of images. Maybe I should do that for myself. And it's about testing and iterating until it works. The topics that you want to write about are always going to perform well, but you just need to find out the right way to promote them. Does that make sense? Usually, a fast track is always telling stories and always using a photo. Let's go back to, let's say, me on my LinkedIn strategy. What I realized is that I was playing LinkedIn on hard mode because I was trying to be really cool and not really use any photos because I was like, oh, I'm too good for that. But then I realized like LinkedIn is a social media platform where you need to retain attention. A fast way to retain attention fast is by adding a graphic, because what people don't kind of see is that when you put a graphic on your post, it takes over the entire feed. And so that gives you more time to win someone over and get them to actually read your posts rather than just doing text-only content. So another hack, and hence why we're here in London, is to get as many photos as possible so we can almost position you as a tech guy doing tech guy things and also talking about tech, right? Because people right now need this extra validation that you're not just doing the thing, but you also are that thing. There's too many LinkedIn personal branding experts right now talking about personal branding with 10,000 followers or 1,000 followers. But now, how do we get someone that has 1,000 followers, but also is worth 100,000 followers to look the part? By using the right content and the right cues. Yeah?
Yeah. So do you ever go through and find a viral post, and even though it's not necessarily in your niche, do you then just copy, say, the formatting or try and then relate it to one of your 4 pillars?
Oh, 100%. So there's someone that I really admire in the industry, and his name is Jake Ward. What Jake did that broke LinkedIn 2 years ago, and I personally say this because I saw it, he wouldn't say it because he won't admit it. Jake became the best technical writer on LinkedIn, which allowed many people like myself understand how to write technically. He writes about SEO, I write about marketing, but then I realized that he was breaking down such complex topics in such depth, and so I copied it. So let's say this one, the new SEO game, if SEO search is a real optimization. I don't know how to do SEO in 2026. So I'll see this, and there's 2 things I could think. This doesn't have anything to do with me, so I can't copy it. Or I can be like, this worked well, let me reverse engineer why. And so I'll take this, and I'll be like, okay, how can I break down LinkedIn marketing or personal branding in 2026 and do it exactly how he's doing it? So what levels can I actually break down? They don't need to be 6 like he has here, 7. It can be 3. But if we just do it in micro steps, like he's broken it down, then I know I can potentially get a similar result. So you can do that as well. Whenever I don't have any information about any client, I just go and look to the ends of the earth for any blogs, any content, any YouTube stuff that I can take, and then immediately just use context. So context is Jake's post because it's giving us the winning format, and then proof that you've done something similar from YouTube blogs. You can either even use your SOPs, whatever. Then we're gonna add it here. So write me a post on my strategy to scale B2B SaaS. Is that good? What'd you say?
Good.
Here's some info. So this removes all the friction between finding the idea, finding what you want to write about, finding the best hook to talk about. And then it's just the final draft is done for you in 2 seconds or less. It's 80% done. Obviously, you need to go back and shift things. But that's exactly how I've been doing it manually this entire time. And that's how Jake did it manually this entire time. But now you can do it in 2 seconds. Now, the last thing that I want to add before we wrap up is that the images play a really big part on this. So whenever people use AI, and even if it's ChatGPT, Claude, etc., where people fail in the execution is that they'll try and copy a viral post, but they won't copy it correctly. They won't emulate it. You need to emulate from the structure, the hook, the formatting, even the CTA, but also the image that you're using. So obviously you and I can't make this right now, right? But what can we do in less than an hour today, or like whatever time allocated we have to write a post? We can go on Canva, we can try and make something similar. We can add a photo of us working, so we can just add that. And then maybe your SEO strategy is on the screen. So we always want to give context. One person that does this very well is Richard Moore. He has this strategy where he doesn't really use infographics, but he always uses candid photos of himself, which positions him as an authority always, because he's always speaking, he's always in a suit. So he's sort of like telling people who he is without that. So for you, it'd be like you looking like a B2B SaaS nerd and in your laptop, because that's exactly what your ideal client and someone looking for you wants to see, you being yourself. That's pretty much it. We walk through, actually understand how to build your positioning, what strategy is better for you, how to build it, the types of posts that you need to write, and then actually writing the final post in seconds. Do you have any questions?
How do I remain authentic and make sure that it always sounds like me?
So when we built your content pillars at the start and even your strategy, we focused a lot on your story and what you specifically educate on and your social proof, right? That is the main thing that will keep you authentic and what is going to pull people to you. So when we're using AI, when we're emulating other people's content, when we're using people's site files, your content won't always sound like them as long as you prompt it right. So even the outputs that we had for AI content earlier, they sound like you because we gave it context about you. And that's how we kind of like beat that from being just generic AI fluff that ChatGPT writes. This is what makes tools like Kleo so different. And also, the tool is basically built on you. So when you are onboarded onto the platform, you already know this, but for people watching this, we know the about you, your story, etc., which means that every single time we create content, it will always be backed on your story and your beliefs rather than just copy and pasting the viral format. What we've trained Kleo to do is follow formats, but not the content, just the context, ideally. So that's how you stay authentic and not a typical viral fluff pass on LinkedIn. Cool. Let's go, Cam. First viral post tomorrow. High five. Yay!